telling us that the food we eat is causing more inflammation. And if you suffer from chronic pain, do you know the impact that's having on your pain levels? My name is Amy. I am a food educator, speaker, and author of The Hidden Consumer, Uncovering the Power of Health Conscious Buyers. And I'm going to walk you through a little bit of my own personal journey. And then I'm going to wrap it up with some coffee and tea chat as well, because, it all comes back together. Um, so, in all the research I did, trying to figure out my own issues, why I was having so many reactions to food and food that everyone is saying, oh, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's all BS. It's all BS. I could figure out exactly what was going wrong with me, and it just blew people's minds, and they didn't want to accept it. But out of all that, of trying to figure out what was going on with me, I realized that once I figured out food was a problem, it reduced my inflammation. And when it reduced my body's inflammation, it reduced my pain levels. I'm talking, I went from 7 levels of around 7 down to like 2 or 3. So for me, it was a major issue. One of my one of my syndromes is complex regional pain syndrome. I have type 1, so I don't have a nerve that has physical damage to it, but my nervous system does not work the way it's supposed to. So in that case, this is a problem that increases inflammation. It makes your body think that you're constantly in pain, so the brain is constantly sending signals to that affected limb to constantly swell the limb, protect the limb at all costs. And that's where inflammation comes in. Now, because of the food I was eating, my body was already in one of those states where it was really inflamed. Inflammation was being sent everywhere. I was extremely bloated. It was just kind of gross. And I didn't realize how much of what I was eating wasn't necessarily stored calories per se, as much as it really was my body was just really inflamed because it didn't know how to deal with the food I was eating. And then being someone with multiple chronic pain issues really intensified that because the inflammation from the food increased pressure on those affected limbs, which then told the body I was in pain. So it sent more inflammation. Doesn't work well. It really doesn't. But that's how our bodies operate. At least it does in mine. So one of the things I had to figure out quickly were what was causing that. And for me, it was a food connection. But how does this relate back to coffee, you ask? Really easy. I was having a conversation with my friend, and she reminded me when we first met, we got together at this great hotel, and we were going to have coffee together. And she looked at me, and she's with a shocked look on her face when I was talking to the waiter, because I'm like, I need to know what brand of coffee you sell. And he happened to say it's Starbucks. I'm like, okay, nope, do not serve me Starbucks coffee, which is common with people who have food sensitivities. I might have been overly dramatic and said, that could potentially kill me. Starbucks is a basic, like you could put any major brand in its place. Like it's not just, but Starbucks was who they were serving at that hotel, which I can't drink. So just know that. But within these coffees, there are different additives. But for me, being a pars pavilion sensitive, I'm going to react to the ground it was planted in. I'm going to react to the pesticides that the ground has around it. I'm going to react to a lot of things that most people wouldn't react to. And because major brands, not just that one, but major brands do industrial side farming where it's synthetic fertilizers, synthetic pesticides being used, I can't use any product like that. Now, when I was going through and determining what my issues were and really narrowing it down to corn was a problem, one of the people in the corn allergy group posted a comment that they had reached out to the said company and asked about why they were reacting because they couldn't figure out. They were a huge fan of this coffee and they couldn't figure out why it was actually one of the problems causing them to have a reaction. And at that time, and remember this is around a decade ago, over maybe a decade ago, they because they were drinking decaf, and that I just avoid decaf at all costs. But because they drink decaf, decaf is typically roasted with dextrose, which is moldy corn sugar. You can fight me all you want on that. That's exactly what dextrose is. The problem is at that time, they weren't cleaning the conveyor belts afterwards. So, the last time I drank their coffee, I ended up so ill, I couldn't drink any coffee for a good 6 months because of the damage it did to my stomach. A lot of that goes back to there was enough allergen within that for whatever reason, and I don't drink sugared coffees. I am a black, no cream, no sugar. I'm the one that, those memes warn you about. Yeah, that's me. And I still got really ill. And one of the things I tell people who work with me or talk to me about why they're reacting to certain coffees is if you're drinking a major brand coffee, you really have to be cautious because you don't know what they're putting in the coffee. You don't know how it's being grown. I mean, we kind of do. If you want to keep coffee like I did, coffee, wine, and tea were three things I really did not want to give up. But I had to go 2 years without coffee until I figured out what was going on and what made it safe for me. And by doing that, I did lower my pain levels. So the impact coffee had on my chronic pain, I had always associated with caffeine, but in my case, that was not the problem. The problem for me was the coffee I was drinking had some type of corn additive somewhere within the entire process that I was sensitive to. So that meant I could not drink major coffees. So for me today, I do still drink coffee and I still have tea. And my coffee comes from, I have to buy from coffee importers who are deliberately working with small family farms that refuse to sell out to corporations and who do either fair trade, but they don't use any synthetic fertilizers. There's no synthetic pesticides. Now, I do have to go the extra distance of saying, how long has your soil been free of synthetic pesticides and synthetic fertilizers? Because if it's only a decade, it's not clean enough for me. I will get sick. But that's me because I am an extremely sensitive to these types of ingredients. For my tea, I trust Tea Source. I trust Himalayan Blends, and I actually trust Himalayan Blends coffee as well. Look through my videos. You'll find them from probably around a year ago when we really did a lot of work with Himalayan Blends. Um, but again, their Himalayan Blends has never had, pesticides or synthetic pesticides, synthetic fertilizers used on their ground. So again, those are the things I'm looking for because I know that if I drink the wrong thing, it's going to impact my health and it's really going to impact my chronic pain. So if I want to be out and I want to enjoy a nice day and go get coffee, one, I'm bringing my own coffee mug because I can't drink from paper cups. But the flip side of that is I'm also looking for mom and pop shops that do sell organic coffee. So there's a lot of things that I have to do to goes into coffee. So if you want to learn more about coffee and the body, I do have a What's on Your Table webinar coming up on March 19th, I believe, that just covers the coffee aspect and tea aspect. So go for it and sign up. You can find that link right here at all the links. Oh, and hi, Dr. Jen. It's so nice to see you. Yes. Thank you. So here it is. There's the link. Find how to meet me if you want to schedule time to chat about your health, your concerns. Please know I am not a medical professional. What I am is a survivor of our medical system who had to figure out my problems on my own and then take my research back to my allergist to really figure out what was going on. So the work we do together is actually intended to work with your medical professionals. And if you just want to see if food is a trigger for you, I have tracking systems for that. And I can actually work with you on that as well, because you will be really surprised at what is happening to your body when you eat something that's causing inflammation. And especially if you are a chronic pain person who I have all the energy for you because I get it. I have been in your shoes and it's not fun when food causes you more pain. So if you want to learn more, reach out at thehiddenconsumer.com. All the links, because all the links is just way more fun. And you can find everything there, including signing up for my newsletter. So with that, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with me as we talk about different ways food is impacting our health.